everybody, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Today we're back in the fish room and we're going to do two things. One of my most favourite jobs and one of my least favourite jobs. So I normally shoot in the fish room with lovely backgrounds like this where you can see Mega Tank 2 and everything is swimmingly and wonderful and great. But the reality is, go from that background quickly to mess, boxes, broken things, tanks on the floor. It's just unorganized chaos and stuff everywhere you look. So my least favorite job will be organizing all this. I say least favorite, I hate doing it, but I like the result. So tidying, don't worry, this isn't going to be a video about tidying, but the tidying will then enable me to do my favourite job, which is to build new tanks. So we're going to tidy up, make some semblance of order around here, and then I'm going to replace this unit with a rack going up there and get some new tanks in. So I don't want tanks on the ground. I don't want just one tank. We're missing crucial real estate space here, so we're going to build a rack here and fit some tanks on it, make it look nice. So stay tuned for that. But for now, enjoy hopefully a very short time lapse of me tidying up.
Picking up, sweeping up, no fun to do. Building stuff makes organized chaos. Cleaning up, sweeping up, you just have to. I'd like to see the floor again one day.
And there we go, we are back to some semblance of order now in the fish room. There's not quite so much junk lying around. Yeah, a few trials and tribulations, but let me give you a short tour of the fish room. So we start off with Brian's tank. Nothing really has changed here, that's as it was. Down here I've moved the chest of drawers that was down at the end to here. This is the IKEA unit. Two little nano tanks on there. Not sure if I'm actually going to do anything with them or not. They're there to be out of the way for the moment. Still got access into my water butt for my overflow, and I can get at everything in here, so that's fine. Mega Tank is roughly, Mega Tank 2 that is roughly unchanged. All I've done is in the tank down here, I've swapped that out for a bigger one that fills the space a bit more, so that's one of my plant holding tanks in there. So that's fine, and then my smaller black culture sitting off the side to that. So that should be fine. Empty tank in there, which could be a quarantine tank, grow out tank, display tank. It's not decided what it's going to be. Filtration. And then the Fahaka tank, which again has some holding plants in there. So there's still some tidying up to do. And then obviously we've got the big Mega Tank 2. Doing really well with all its rummy noses, doing rummy nose things. Everything's happy. I'll skip over this for the second, but Mega Tank 1 now doesn't have mountains of crap on top of it. It's my new favourite thing because it upset so many people in the last video, is my little Temu filter, which is working perfectly and is in no way dangerous or pretend. I don't know what people have done about there. Some more holding tanks up there, plant tanks there, and this is the grow out tank for Mega Tank. So in here we've got the sand goby and the emperor snakehead hanging out in there, getting big. And then obviously in here we've got Oscars, Severums, and all these fantastic silver dollars. These enormous piranha looking silver dollars. So they're doing great. I've actually been seeing some breeding behaviour from the silver dollar, so I don't know if that'll come to anything with the other fish in there. But that's one thing I have to think about, is what we're going to do with Mega Tank. I really want to keep bass. Maybe one day stingrays. It's just a shame that it's such a big tank. This is 8 foot by 4 foot by 3 foot. And these are all the fish that we've got in it at the moment, as well as the hiding Oscars, etc. And then over here we've got what I've been calling the nano jungle. Lots of small fish in here, but loads of crypts, Java Fern, Anubis, all kinds of things going on in here, and everything doing really well. Sorry, that light is not good. I need to work on less reflective surfaces. And then down here we've got the rainbow fish tank, which again is doing fine. And there's some cories in there as well. So that is all the tanks around here, which then takes us to this. So this is what you might have seen me building in the time lapse, but I think the battery ran out before the crucial parts off. I've got rid of the shelf that was up here and replaced it with this racking system, and I've got this little pull out thing here. This is a pull out trolley that I can move around, but it's just going to live there for the time being. And yeah, I've moved the shellies, which will all dive for cover now that I've done that. They're in this tank here. I've got my 3 little tanks up top, nothing in them yet, and then 2 of these big 70 centimeter tanks here, so just over 2 feet. Quick interjection, Editor Graham here. I already hate this idea. I'm editing this video, I'm looking at this, I've been living with it for a couple of days since I've actually filmed that piece. It's already annoying me, and I haven't even put water in those tanks. I can't get my hands in properly. I've done the thing I hate doing. My number 1 rule is give yourself enough room to work. I'm trying to cram in tanks where I don't need to cram in tanks, so I'm scrapping that. I might go on to talk about this later in the video. I haven't edited that bit yet, but if I do, ignore that. I'm not having those 2 tanks there because there's not enough space. I'm going to move that shelf down a bit, give myself more space for 1 tank, possibly move these 2 little tanks onto the bottom shelf because they could go there and just have that as more space here to work with. But I'm not having those 2 like that because that will annoy the hell out of me. Okay, back to the video. We'll be adding lights shortly, but this rack is, I bought 2 racks, one for storage and one for keeping the fish on, and I built the one for storage and was very confused with myself as to why it didn't fit any of these fish tanks. I thought I'd done another Graham measures everything incorrectly again, but thankfully I just built the wrong one, so that's fine. We can look at that in a minute. So that's what we're going to have here. So we're going to have this tank, this tank, this tank, which is occupied, and these will all live here. This is a heavy duty rack. I'll put links in the description to all this stuff. This holds something like 220 kilos per shelf, which sounds great and is great, but it comes with this really thin, like MDF board stuff, particle board, which when it gets wet is essentially paper, so it's completely useless. Which is why it's really important that you put at least 1 corner on the steel. Underneath there's like this brace as well, which holds it a little bit better. So there is some coverage. What I would normally do would be replace this with something, which I might do with these tanks before I get onto it, or at least put some bracing across to hold the weight. And then these ones I've got on the back to take the weight, so it should be fine until it gets wet, and then it will be a disaster. This is definitely not a recommendation, but it will hold the weight and it will do okay. So in here I'm thinking these could be breeding tanks for the discus, grow out tanks, or just some nice tanks. I could just make some nice tanks and enjoy them. The radiator is behind that tank. I've also bought a little fan. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm going to hang a fan that's going to push the heat from the radiator out to the rest of the room. But it will effectively heat this rack for free. So yeah, that's what we've got. And then, of course, I've brought back this. I brought back the old chair, which kind of loving / hating at the moment. Let me show you what I mean. Now, there's no getting away from this being one of the best places to sit in the fish room. You can sit here to my heart's content, spinning around, looking at whatever I want to look at. And that is my view from down here, or it's one of the views. So I can stick my feet up here and just gaze slightly up. I can't see as much glare as you can see on the camera, which is annoying, but that can be my view. Which you've got to admit is not a bad view. And then obviously I've got the puffer tank down here, so I'm going to get that rescaped properly, and depending what we do with these 2 tanks, we'll have that as a view. I can spin easily round. I can have these tanks as a view, and then spin around once more and have this tank as a view. So that as a function is fantastic. That as an obstacle in my fish room, which gets in the way every time I try and do any work to anything, is a pain in the bum. So that is the only problem there is. There is enough room for it to work as a chair, and I can spin around easily and watch any angle I want to. I can see whatever tank I want to see. That all works fine, but it's just, it's big, and it's big and it's in the way. So I did have some plans for maybe stringing a hammock from Mega Tank 1 over to Mega Tank 2 somewhere, and then it could just be put away when I wasn't using it, because as good as that is, I don't get as much time to sit in it as I wish I had, because most of the time I spend here is working on one of the tanks rather than enjoying it. And that's fine for me, because working on the tanks is one of the ways I get enjoyment from it, so I'm kind of alright with that. I do like sitting down and just chilling out in the chair and enjoying everything. I just don't always have that much time. I've got a young family, I've got a job, I've got a wife, I'm busy, got stuff to be doing. So I don't know if that's just a luxury I can no longer afford, which would be a shame. So out here I've just got more storage for various fish foods and things like that. Plant packaging, other packaging, boxes, more boxes, more boxes, more boxes, general junk and more packaging. This is all rubbish that needs to be sorted out still. But until very recently, I had the tiniest of walkways to get in and out of here because everything was piled up here. So I'm still mid-sort. There's still a few fish tanks which I'm probably not going to recommission. But we'll sort them out and tidy this up a bit and give me a bit more space out here. But yeah, we're almost getting sorted out. There's some more carnage out there of things that I'm currently cleaning. So I've downsized in terms of tanks. So this is what we're working with at the moment. Got these two tanks which I want to do something with. Maybe get back into guppies again with the smaller tanks, or maybe even one of these tanks. Something to go in here, as well as these guys. And then whether or not to get these little nano tanks up and running. Maybe get a couple of betta fish just to look pretty, or just leave it, not do them at all. So I'm kind of looking for inspiration. Every fish that I own at the moment has a home and a place to be, so it's not like I need more tanks. I was thinking about getting these started and running, but I might just leave it for now while I mull over inspiration as to what to do with them. Whether to get a breeding pair of discus and dive into it, or wait for these to pair off. There is a pair in here. I'm doing an experiment to just see how they get on as parents with all this space, to see whether anything changes naturally with a pair in here, and then get another pair out there, because I do want more discus in here and it can comfortably handle many more, but I'd like to breed them to put them in there rather than just buy them. So yes, I have now got myself in this lovely predicament of plenty of tank space, but not entirely sure what to do with it. So I guess that turned into more of a kind of vlog asking for inspiration. But yeah, if you have any ideas or anything you'd like to see on the channel that maybe you've not seen me do before, or you have seen me do before and would like to see again, big fish, little fish, cardboard box, whatever it may be, let me know in the comments. Come and see me on a Friday night at 9 PM. We do a live stream every week. You can come along, join the fun, play the quiz, maybe win some prizes, or just have a chat. It's all good fun. 9 PM UK time every Friday. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!